Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. Everybody's doing great. I'm part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me today, as always, on this 5th of July, which happens to be a holiday here, it's my good friend, Michele Barra. Michele, what's up?
Well, I'm clearly Rents Blayenberg today. This is what I feel.
Oh, man. Oh, Michele. So, yesterday's 4th of July. Very, very, very great day. Nice day. And then today, I think a lot of people are off work. So, I hope you guys can enjoy some Thunder talk. Today's show, we are going to talk about the trade value that each player on this team would have at the draft. We're going to discuss if Sam Presti has to win every trade. Is that a thing? Does he have to do that? And we'll probably even touch on the NBA Finals, which start tomorrow night with a pretty fun matchup as long as we get some Giannis. So let's start with
about the finals. Very happy.
Me?
Yeah.
Resident Hawks hater here. Yeah. I am, actually. I hope that Giannis can play.
Mm-hmm.
If he can, then I think we're going to get a great series.
Yes.
I think it could be very good. I think people are, in fact, underrating the Bucks at this point. I think that the Suns have become America's team somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's on board with everything about them. They're the feel-good story of the playoffs. And the truth is, they haven't played a defense like Milwaukee's yet.
Yeah.
And I am excited to see what that looks like, especially if they can get Giannis as their giant free safety out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Drew Holiday's played better the last two games, which really helps. And Middleton can blow up, and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is going to pose a challenge to them, too. He's played very well.
Yeah, I wonder what will change in terms of how suppose that Giannis plays, of course. I don't know if it's related the fact that Drew Holiday was so efficient with the ball in his hands, going deep into the paint and taking some of the shots that probably when Giannis is there, he will not take in the same way because of the space that Giannis occupies when he's on the court. So I wonder if this will be a weapon when Giannis sits, because it clearly works.
Something clicked, but also regular season, Drew Holiday was very good. Very good.
I mean, the shooting has to fall for them to be effective against Phoenix, and of course, I think that Ayton will be okay against Brook Lopez, but I wonder when and if Milwaukee goes small, then can he stay on Giannis? Can he defend him? To what degree? I mean, this is a new challenge for Phoenix. They played very well so far. But one thing is attack Zubac in pick and rolls and in facing one great wing defenders on the opponent team, like Paul George. Maybe you can count Beverly in, but maybe not.
Man.
Milwaukee has Giannis, Tucker, Drew Holiday, and Middleton.
Yeah.
That is
incredibly tough.
Yes.
Yeah. They've got, I would favor the Suns are favored. I mean, that's who the Vegas favorite is.
Yeah.
And they should be. But I don't know. If there's no Giannis, I think it's over. It's done. If Giannis can play at anything above 80%, I think the Bucks have a real shot to get there.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this. Well, let's do this, Michele. Let's talk about the comment from Jonathan Givony. This was a couple weeks ago. I think it was right after the lottery happened. He and Zach Lowe were discussing the Thunder's position and how they could, I think Zach Lowe's words are, trade a cajillion draft picks to get the number one pick or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Givony made just kind of a statement of he doesn't think they'll do that just because Sam Presti has to win every single trade. And I'm just curious your thoughts on that topic.
Well, it's I completely disagree with that, especially as of late. I mean, you can say that Presti wants to win every single trade, especially if you look back at the past, I don't know, past year. I mean, was Al Horford trade a trade that Presti necessarily won at the time? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good trade for both sides. So was the Kelly Oubre trade with Golden State. And you can say the same about Minnesota. They gave up a lot to climb to get Pokusevski. And it's all about, to me, your goals. And if you are in a tiny market like OKC, and you have a very limited amount of assets in order to get to the point where you want to be, like think about Oladipo, for example. Think about, I don't know, Enes Kanter or even like trades like that. You have to squeeze. You have to win the trade. Otherwise, I mean, what are you doing? Like, but it's not that. I don't think that Presti will ever say no to a trade because the overall consensus is that he's losing or he's giving up too much.
Sure.
That to me is completely wrong. And again, last year was like proof that was not the case. I mean, Presti, quote unquote, lost trade in the moment and even exposed. Like, think about Reggie Jackson. Was that a good trade? I don't think so. I mean, it was not a good trade then, and it's not now. Was Enes Kanter trade good? Maybe. So it made sense at the time, but at the time he wasn't in a position where he could negotiate. And I mean, he had to do some moves. Right now, he has a gazillion picks, and he has no rush whatsoever. I mean, same with Paul George. I mean, when you have leverage, if you lose the trade, you're not good at your job, period. If you don't have leverage, like you want to have another pick, you don't care about necessarily about Danny Green, what's your leverage? Like, and Philly probably had other trades on their plate, and that was the most favorable. Like, I think that the concept is wrong, because if you think that your GM is trying to win the trades and not to do the best for your team, then he's not a good GM. And Presti is for sure one of the best GMs in the league. So I really don't think that is a good assessment of what Presti does. Again, he wants to extract value. Thank God he does. Like, this is exactly his job to make the most of his team.
Yeah, I agree. I think for sure you can check the Poku trade, check the Oubre trade for sure, and say, you think that was the most value? I mean, even at the time of the trade, Alex and I had a lot of conversations about Kelly Oubre and the value. And you can go roll the tape back. At the time of the trade, it was like, this was not a superb deal for a wing scorer like Kelly Oubre.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he will do what's best. And also, we have to know that the amount of picks the Thunder have is unprecedented.
Yeah.
And there will be a trade that's done where you're like, whoa, like here's Sam pushing some chips in.
Yeah.
Like he can never push all the chips in until like years down the road, just because there's too many. But I would not be shocked to hear on draft night the Thunder are offering a record number of draft picks to trade for pick 3. You know, something like that, where it's just like the Thunder are pushing some chips in. And it may even seem like a bad deal, just depending on what it looks like. But the thing about it is, and I've been saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it until it actually happens, is the reason you get all these picks is so you can get what you want.
Exactly.
Like, go get what you want. And the Thunder will never be able to use all these picks to put they'll never be able to use all these picks to just form a roster. There's just no way. There's too many guys. There's too many picks. And they already have guys on the team that they like. So you have to eventually use them. You have to eventually cash them in. and you have to eventually do something that people are going to be even like raise their eyebrow at to get the guy you like. And I can't sit here and pretend to know the guys that they like in this draft. I can't sit here. I can make guesses. I can look at who they've selected recently and make a guess based upon that. But I have no idea what their team thinks. And the people that act like they think they know what the team thinks, I'm sorry. Like, you, please don't listen to that. Don't listen to those people. You think the Thunder are calling Chad Ford? You think the Thunder are calling anybody and saying, hey, we really like this guy. Let me show you our draft board. Like, give me a break. There are teams that do that. There are teams that absolutely will tell you who's on their draft board. But the people that pretend that they know the Thunder's draft board, you've got to be really careful.
Yeah.
And if you think, and people that say, I think the Thunder would really like this guy or they really like that guy, be very careful, because that's not the case. They don't know. They don't know for sure. There's just no way. The Thunder are very tight-lipped about a lot of things, and especially at the draft. So I just want you guys to be careful with any of that kind of stuff, because I just don't think there's any chance that that stuff is true. It could be smoke screens. It could be agents talking. It could be lots of things happening. There are so many things, as we found out with Micic, right? There's so many messages out there that aren't true, and you have to sift through things, and you have to just make sure before you go. And then the Thunder will, I mean, nobody really knew the Thunder were going to take Westbrook. A lot of people thought Cameron Payne was going to the Thunder because he got a promise. Yeah. And that ended up being true. Reggie Jackson was also one.
Mitch McGarry. Nobody thought about that at the time.
Mitch McGarry, Josh Eustace.
Yeah, well, Eustace.
Like, no one knew. No one saw that coming. It was like, what? I mean, just watch the draft. Watch the draft with Woj or Shams on, and right when it gets to the Thunder, everything stops.
Yeah.
That happens every year. The leaks
stop.
Yeah,
probably Poku was one of the quickest, if I remember correctly.
That was the worst kept secret. And it was quite obvious. And we deduced a lot of things to get there, right? We made a lot of deductions to get there. And even with Maledon, we made deductions to get to that one too. These are players that seem to fit where they're headed.
Yeah.
And you can do the same deductions with this current draft. Who are the most skilled guys? Who are the guys that have multiple tools that are high upside?
Yeah.
Those are probably the guys the Thunder are looking at.
Rens Blayenberg.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
You can make a list of the players that all fit that criteria, and I'll bet you the Thunder are going to take somebody from that list.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, but back with the main point of Givony, I don't want to, I mean, he clearly has his info and intel, and but again, I mean, even if OKC doesn't put everything on the table, it's not because they don't want to lose the trade. It's because the value proposition is not there. We were discussing that about Kispert, for example, on Thunder After Dark, which I suggest everyone to check out, because it's where we do all our draft coverage. Mm-hmm. But like, trading up for Kispert, is that good value? Is Kispert worth 2 first-round picks? If the answer is yes, like if you think that a guy like Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green is a top 10 player in this league in the future, then he's worth 6 first-round picks. That is like the value. And so if you offer 5, which has never been done for a pick probably in the past 10, 20 years, then that's the evaluation. That can be wrong. Can be very well wrong. But it's not like because if they offer less, it's not because they want to lose. If they offer more, it's not that because they want to spend the picks just because they have them. It's because the evaluation that you do is exactly that one. Mm-hmm. Like, think about Doncic. Say that Atlanta asks for 3 first-round picks, and you don't do it, then your evaluation is wrong. If you do it with 4, it's not that you overpaid. It's just your assessment, your evaluation of Doncic is quite different.
Mhm.
And again, great job by Dallas by saying, well, we offer one or two, whatever they offered, and then that was it. Like,
Yeah, swap the pick plus an additional first. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And today, I
so
mean,
intrigued. Yeah. I'm so intrigued
today,
by what they do.
yeah, me too. Me too.
And again, I have no idea what it would be. I really don't.
They obviously will draft, I don't know, Josh Giddey with pick number 6. No, that won't
I wouldn't
happen.
be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be a bit, to be honest with you.
There would, I mean, he's the kind of guy. Like he's thundery. He's on the list. We talked about the list of players, and we can make a quick list of players that fit this. Cade, Mobley, Green, Suggs on the list. Kuminga's probably on the list. Scotty Barnes probably on the list. Franz Wagner probably on the list. Alperen Şengün on the list. Moses Moody on the list.
Yeah.
Giddey on the list. Usman Garuba probably on the list. Maybe. Tune in to our Garuba pod. That's about as deep as I go, like with certainty. Zaire Williams probably on the list.
Yeah, I think he's on the list. Even if OKC has a tendency not to draft, I don't know how they feel about guys that don't succeed at what they do. Know. Because that is something that you have to keep in mind. I don't know if you go back to their draft picks. They are either mystery, like Darius Baisley, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recall, and maybe you do. Well, Terrence Ferguson, but that was a very different,
strange situation. But Zaire Williams also strange situation.
Yes,
we can't.
Yes,
we cannot say that it wasn't. So
yeah. But he's the closest, because otherwise, I mean, I don't know if this fit completely their MO, but I mean, he's clearly interesting and super talented. Mm-hmm. And if he puts it together, that is a guy that if you get it at 18, then yes. I mean, at 6, no, you don't.
No, 18, perhaps even 16.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah. This draft, I think, has a lot of depth to it through mid-20s. There's going to be lots of hits. I just see a lot of prototypes of players that will fit the league that will play.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. It's exciting to have a shot to get 3 of those guys or 2 of those guys or however many it is, but these guys can play. Like you get to even like Jared Butler, Garuba, like those guys are going to be probably available at 16, 18. That's great. That's great value. Kai Jones at least has like extreme upside.
Yeah.
With regards to the way he plays and what he does. I mean, there's some real stuff in this draft. I mean, I don't think the Thunder would draft Chris Duarte, but Duarte is going to be available. And he's going to play.
Yeah.
And that's really something. This draft is probably similar to last year's draft with the depth that's there, but with like the way higher upside guys at the top, which is great. And like we said, every single year, without fail, the top 5 is wrong.
Yeah.
And this year will not be an exception to that. At 5 years down the road, we will look back and it will be wrong. That's how it will go. And you can look back through the history of the draft. It's always wrong.
Yeah, and even I was still thinking about trading up, moving picks and stuff like that. I cannot be certain of that, but there were rumors that OKC was not desperately, but they were trying to get in top 3 in last year's draft. And I'm sure that they offered quite a lot to do that. Yeah. And the word was, well, they really like LaMelo and stuff like that. Well, suppose that, like, going back, like 4 first-round picks for LaMelo Ball. Like, are they worth? Probably so.
Probably so.
So I mean, it's again, I wonder. Like OKC can do many things. I wonder what they will do, and yeah, trading up in these drafts is probably hard, as it was like trading up in the top 3 last year.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
It'll be tough. It's not. I wouldn't. I would. It's just still more likely that they're picking at 6, 16, 18 than it is that they're trading. But there's always the chance. I just want to go through like the last 5 drafts, and just we don't have to talk in detail because I'd like to move on to our main topic. But like you look at the 15 draft: Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Okafor, Porzingis, Mario Hezonja. Wrong. 2016, Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Dragon Bender, Chris Dunn. Wrong. 2017, Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox. Wrong.
Very wrong.
18, Ayton, Bagley, Doncic, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young. Wrong. 2019, Zion, Morant, RJ Barrett, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland. Maybe the closest to right that we have. Yes.
Yeah, I think that could be actually right.
That may be the first one where you're like, respectable. Like I get it. We don't know who will work out.
Top 4. I'm not sure I do any changes to that.
Yeah.
5.
Maybe that's the only one.
Yeah. Who's behind Garland that can? I mean, Culver, of course not. Reddish, no.
Of course not.
Hero, no.
Are you just done with Hero? Are you out?
No, but I wouldn't today. If you ask me to pick him ahead of Garland, I would probably say no.
Mm-hmm.
They are in the same ballpark, and Hero had a down season, whereas Garland had one that's trending upwards. So,
Bobo.
Of course. Maybe was MPJ in the previous draft? Yeah,
previous draft.
Before. Yeah, then
maybe this is it. Actually, maybe we give them credit. Maybe we give the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Knicks, Hawks, and Cavs credit there.
Yeah, but it was pretty. I mean, top 3 was pretty set. And
top 3 was like set in stone. Yes. But still, even the set in stone stuff doesn't always work. It's not always right.
Yeah.
Exceptional draft. Very well done, NBA. Last year, Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo, Patrick Williams, Okoro. It's going to be wrong.
It's already probably wrong.
Halliburton should be there.
Yes.
No question.
Pokusevski will be there.
Poku will be there at number 1. Easy. But there's a lot of guys in here that you could say. But it's not bad. That's not bad.
No.
Wiseman, we don't know. It's too early to say. It's really too early to say anything on this. But like I think candidates that could or should be there. I wouldn't give up on Killian Hayes. Tyrese Halliburton is there. Sadiq Bey is a very good player. RJ Hampton has shown some stuff in Orlando. That's pretty great. Jaden McDaniels at 28. Like he's a player, man. Like he really is. And there's lots of good role players, as we've talked about. Tillman is just amazing. One of my favorite guys. Devin Vassell is good. Isaiah Stewart.
Turns out that pre-draft shooting videos are important, but not that important.
This is true.
Maybe he tanked. Maybe he tanked on purpose.
You think?
Who knows? No.
I don't think so either. But I think he's good. I think.
By the way,
first got a guy.
Can I take a moment to celebrate Italy going to the Olympics?
Take as much time as you want.
I mean, I know it's not NBA basketball. I know there was probably no NBA player. Maybe Bielitsa can be thought as an NBA player as of today, but there was Nico Mannion playing for Italy, Italy against Serbia, and it was a great game. It was really an amazing game. Italy just played an amazing game defensively and hit so many threes. Like this guy Achille Polonara, who plays in ACB, he made like 5 on 5 from 3 in his first 5 shots, which was like insane. And Micic played very bad. He was probably hurt.
Well, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Go back to
happy.
Europe.
Stay there, man.
Yeah,
You want to talk about
Petrushев was
you? You
interesting,
want
by
to
the way.
talk about your brother?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I have a brother, and he is my age. It's his name is Paulo Damolin, so not the same surname. You can search for it on Twitter. And
Say it again. Say it slower.
Paolo, Paolo, and his surname is Dalmolin. I hope I spelled it correctly. And basically, he's with my family since he was a kid, so he's my brother. And he's an athlete. He does track and field, 110-meter hurdles, and he had a very difficult career. When he was 24, 25, he won a medal in the European Championships. And since then, it's been 8 years. And he got into injuries after injury after injury every season. And he couldn't complete anything. And everyone was telling him, just quit. I mean, just be a trainer or change job. It's not for you. Mm-hmm. He didn't have any sponsor. And he fought hard. And a week ago, there were the Italian Championships, and he made the best time in the history of our country in 100-meter hurdles. So, and he won and he had the pass to go to the Olympics. So it was a very, very good moment for my family, and it was very emotional. And it's a story that tells you that if you give up, you gave up. And sometimes it's right, but sometimes when you look back, you may regret it. Yeah. And I mean, this is his story, so everyone is different. But the fact that he was able to fight extremely hard for years of no results whatsoever, no gratification whatsoever, just losses, just doors that were shutting on his face, and be able to represent Italy on the best moment, best event in sports.
Yeah, world stage.
Yeah, it's huge.
Unbelievable.
And so
awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so great. Let's go to the stream before we take a quick break. We have No Limit here. We have Buster Nakamoto in Alabama. We have Garrett in Orlando. We have Matty Moles in San Antonio. We have Fitness 2018 saying, what do you think about a Kemba to the Knicks trade that looks like them having cap space and picks? Sure,
if they want him.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Yep. Grant in Juniper, Florida. We have Andrew Martin saying, roll tide. We have Hoopstock 69. He said the fourth was beautiful from the moon. We have Trevor Halbach in Tulsa. We have Mikolaj from Poland. Polish Thunder family. So cool. Tyler Rebert is here. We have Phil in France. We have Tom on Book Night Island. We have Pedro in Brazil. We have Kirk T on the Josh Giddey train. We have Paul Chi in Jamaica. We have Augusto. He says Boo Night. We have Twice God in Altus. He's got the Brins train on full blast. Do you know anything about him?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know nothing. 6'11" point guard is all I know. Yeah. So
shot looks okay. I watched like 5 minutes of highlights, which doesn't amount to anything serious, but the shot looks good.
Yeah,
he's very thin, very thin.
Yep. We have Yoni in Israel. We have Jess, African Kiwi, who is in Perth, Australia. It's 2:30 a.m. She can't sleep, so she's listening to us. So thank you, Jess. Loyal listener, Jess. So awesome. Poku Shea Dort Gooey says this is his favorite down to dunk.
Thanks.
Let's see. This is from Taylor. Says longtime listener, first time commenter here, but I love and appreciate the pod. Currently a junior at OU majoring in Spanish Italian. Spanish and Italian, looking for advice on becoming a scout. Any tips? Thunder up. Any tips?
Well, watch games. And don't watch for the ball when you do watch games. Watch for other stuff and go back, repeat, and try to get as many games as you can.
Diogo in Portugal. Let's see. We had a commenter I had to kick out of here, so a lot of people are commenting on that. We have Tommaso Ferro. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Jordan Riddles in T-Town. Let's see. Kevin Chen saying congrats to him and your family. So cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hope you guys are doing great. We'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back after that quick break. Michele, I had an idea because everybody likes to talk about what if we trade this for that? Can we get this? Can we get that? Can we get that pick? Can we trade this player? And I thought it'd be fun to just talk about what the players on the current Thunder roster are worth with regards to trading up in the draft, and like what kind of draft pick range we could expect if a particular player was on the table. So let's start at the top. We got to start with Shai. What pick range do you think Shai is worth? What would you say? Let's talk first. What range do you think he should be in as far as like what trade is there? But then perhaps what would you be willing to trade him for as well?
Well, if you look from to me, the point is I wouldn't trade him for less than the number one pick, and maybe even pause on that end.
I've kind of landed on that I wouldn't trade him for any pick in this draft. That's kind of where that is where I have landed, because he's very good. He may, I think he's better today than like some of the Harden stuff we saw in his last year in OKC. And that doesn't mean he's going to be that doesn't mean he's going to be better than Harden, because Harden got really, really good once he got to the Rockets and was given his own team. So I don't want anybody to think like I think he's going to be Harden and better. I don't even know if he's going to be Harden, but there was just some stuff that he did this past year that just makes me say, like, am I 100% sure Cade can do all of that and eclipse it? Like, I am not sure. I am not sure.
No. The only point is, to me, there's no way that if you think about the value that Shai will provide in the next 3 years, and the value that Cade can provide in his rookie year, I don't think we are there. I mean, that there's a huge, stark difference. Mm-hmm. The only reason why you would do a trade like that, it's because you think or you feel that you have just 2-3 years with Shai, whereas you can have 8 with Cade.
Sure.
There, if you think about that, then the value starts to be more in favor of, well, maybe I'll do that. Because
why do they only have 3 years? He's not going to, he's going to sign an extension for longer than 2 years.
Yeah, but say that he signed.
He's going to ask out? No, okay. I can't do it.
3 plus 1, like 4 year with a player option last year. If that is what is on the table, like if you have just 4 years with a player option, then I think that you have to think about that. So to me, it would be great if OKC has some clarity on Shai in terms of negotiation, because to me, he's a flat out max 5 years trade kicker, whatever, but 5 years. If he says yes to that, there's no way that I trade him for anything in this draft. Anything. Yeah. If the answer is no, then, I have to think about it. I was thinking about 3 plus 1 or 4 plus 1. Then you start to think like, really? Like it's complicated, because but in the end, I would probably never pull the trigger, just because with that he will sign a contract, and next year his value will be so much better than this year to me that you could get more than Cade in terms of value. So
it's possible.
Yeah, I think that. Think about guys that have been traded over the past 12 months. Like Shea is younger, and if you have to choose today between Drew Holiday and Shea, you probably pick. Even if you are Milwaukee and you're trying to win a championship, you probably pick Shea.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, he does. He provides something that they don't have.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's improving. And I want everyone to stop doubting Shea. I mean, Shea is improving constantly. Every single year is doing something more. So why
Yeah.
should we? Yes, it's not fair for us to ask that he improves. But even if he does whatever he did over the first 25 games to a full season, he's a top 15, top 20 player in this league. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not every guy taken in this top 5 will be that. I think some of them will. I think
Possibly.
his value, like if you were, I think you could be enraged if he's traded for anything that's like 4 or below. I think that you have to I don't think this will happen, but I don't think that we can be surprised about it either. Be surprised if he's traded for one of the top 3 picks. That's where you get in the range of okay, this is a huge gamble. It's an absolutely gigantic gamble to do it, but I can get it. Like if
But
the
doesn't
Thunder
make sense in terms of value. Like if it's just one pick, I would be enraged no matter where the pick is.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's anything other than that is unreasonable. I can get there with the top 3. I don't think they should do it. I wouldn't do it, but I can get there. Like I can get the logic behind it, especially if it's listen. Like we wanted a long shot. Like give us several years to make this plan happen, and Shea does not allow that. And maybe they think Jalen Green is going to be the next coming of Kobe Bryant or whatever.
Yes, but it's too early. Anyway, like if you think that Shea, so you have to and I know that we are spending like half of this section just to talking Shea, but it's
the most important one. There's not a whole lot else to talk about, to be honest.
So you have 2 different paths. Path here. One is Shea next year will be extremely good. So OKC will be so much better than we anticipate. And he's around 35, 36, 38 wins in the West. If that happens, he is worth an absurd amount of picks.
Sure.
If that happens. If that doesn't happen, then you are probably where you want to be. Maybe you don't get number 1 pick, but if you have luck, like Toronto had, then you may have a good pick. So either way, trading him now, to me, doesn't make any sense from a value standpoint. I mean, either you think that, and again, I don't think that K can be had. Either you think that Jalen Green, and I refuse to think about him in that way, or even Mobley, and again, I refuse to think about him as a franchise-altering player, or it doesn't make any sense. Like to me, it would be extremely weird, and unless he says, "I'm out, I'm not signing the contract," then yes, of course, you do it. But I don't think that he's there.
I don't think that's happening.
Basically, he can go play for the Knicks. This is probably the one team where he can go and sign a max. But why? There's no great team that has easy ways to get him. Yeah, you can always do a sign and trade, but why? It's to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I've kind of landed in the spot that I just don't think it makes sense to trade him, and I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying we can't be shocked or surprised, because had we had a really in-depth look at James Harden at the time and had all the tools available to us that we have today, I think we would have both been like, you cannot trade James Harden. You have to keep him.
But I will not accept anything less than this, and I will probably want to go in another direction. Thing happened,
and
which is relevant.
It is, but also I think we would have. if I had all the tools and everything that I have available to me today that I have now,
Mhm.
I would have been kicking and screaming about
Yeah.
that trade.
And you would have been right.
Yeah.
So that's the point. If that was a mistake because they
It was a
didn't get enough,
huge mistake.
they didn't
And
get enough value.
if they got a trade similar to the Harden trade for Shea, obviously we know that's a bad deal. But even if it's just the number 3 pick, I could understand it. But like the whole fan base should be kicking and screaming about it.
Yeah.
Because it is a massive gamble on somebody that might be good, could be great, could be. But I think that Shea can be great. I think he can be a great player.
Yeah.
I don't know that I go so far to say that he's untouchable, but he's as close to that as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't think the Thunder have an untouchable. I think that everything is considered. So okay. Next player. I think the next player with the highest value is Luguentz Dort. He's got a great contract. He's
Interesting.
ready to play now. He has definable NBA skills where he can go help pretty much any franchise out there. The range where it starts to make sense for other teams, I would say, is around 9.
Mm-hmm.
And the question I have for you, Michele, is let's say the Kings get on the phone with the Thunder and they say, hey, we'd like to trade you the 9th pick straight up for Lu Dort. What would you do?
I know that everyone will hate me right now, but I would probably say yes. I would say no, just because I don't want to send Low to the Kings. But to me, if the 9th pick has very good odds to get a rotation player and a starter out of it. Mm-hmm. So it's where Lu Dort is. Now, either you think that Lu Dort is worth more than that, like that he is a borderline all-star, and I am not there. I can see a path for him to be there. But I mean, I would probably consider heavily if you give me 7, if Golden State, which it never happens, it will never happen. But say that Golden State calls you with 7, I would say definitely yes. If they call you for 14, I would say definitely no. Everything in between 9 and 11, it's probably where Lewis' value is. And I don't know if there is a team that will spend a pick like that. I don't think there is. I don't think that other teams will see Lu Dort as a guy that can net to you, that you can pay like a top 10 for some pick. And on the contrary, for OKC, it doesn't make any sense to trade him for number 14 because there the average outcome is a rotation / good bench player, which is something that you already have. Like unless you have a player that you really, really want to draft and he's there, and say that you have 6 and no one wants to trade with you between 7 and 13, and Moses Moody is there and he's your guy, and you really, really want him, then it's okay. Then it's a okay trade to make, but it needs to be very specific for the player you're targeting. It's not like any pick number 14 is okay for Lu Dort.
Yeah, I would not do it for 14. I am not certain I would do it for 9. I just don't know who I love there at 9, where I would say, yes, I am certain they will be better than Lu Dort, and I will do that. I mean, maybe if Davion drops there, you could just talk yourself into it.
No, I don't like him.
Moody is definitely one where I could see it. Moody's got better size. He's a better shooter. He's not as athletic as Lou, which is kind of part of the problem. He's not a bowling ball of force. He's not that. Giddey? Like basically, would you trade Lu Dort for Josh Giddey?
I don't know. I would probably trade him for Book Knight.
Okay.
I'm intrigued by Book Knight. The fact that he can really score, and I don't know. It's hard. Moody is probably the one that makes the most sense, and
Definitely.
probably also Alperen Şengün. I think the Şengün has potential to be.
Gosh, he
be
just
useful.
feels like a Thunder player. There's just so many things about him that feel very thundery to me, and this is just doing the deductions that I did last year, but like he can pass, he's a pretty decent athlete, he's big. Sam Presti and his team have liked players like this in the past.
Yeah. I'm laughing because of Ryan B's comment. Is Davion Mitchell older than Lou Dort? Yes, he is.
Yeah. Davion's gonna be older than a lot of guys. We did a podcast about Davion. I like him. I think he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be good at the NBA level. I don't know if he'll be there. I know Golden State, like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So I love Lou, and the relationship with he and Shea is real.
Yeah, that's something
else
that you don't want that to be the main reason because you don't trade him, but also you don't want to not think about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Lou's good. Like he's definitively good. Like he's a good player. Okay, let's go to Poku, who's like the wild card of our lives.
Like this will sound stupid, like extremely stupid.
I cannot wait to hear it. I am on the edge of my seat waiting to hear what this is.
But if it's like, suppose that Poku enters the draft again after what we saw last year.
Yeah.
He's younger than basically everyone except for 2-3 players. I would probably draft him 6th or 7th in this draft. I probably have. I don't know about Kuminga, for example. I don't trust Kuminga by to me, saying that Poku is a bust, but Kuminga will succeed is completely preposterous. They have the same chance. Like
they're very much the same, except for like the explosive athlete stuff.
Yeah,
and then Poku.
But Kuminga has Kuminga is lights like he's years behind Pokusevski in terms of feel and passing IQ.
They're very different, like kind of players. Yeah.
To me, Pokusevski have shown flashes in the league, like playing against grown-ups. That, I mean, it's still to be seen with Kuminga, and he's younger because Kuminga is probably quite older than what he is. So I wouldn't pick Poku before Suggs or Green or Mobley. I'm hesitating a bit. I don't.
If Kuminga's age is what they say it is, he's younger than Poku.
Yeah, I know.
But Poku is younger than Cade, Mobley, Green, Suggs, Franz Wagner, Jalen Johnson. Şengün is younger. Bless you. Moody's younger. Yeah, Kai Jones is older. Giddey's younger. There's I guess we can just go through the list. Like Jaden Springer, Giddey, Keon is close. They're about the same age.
Yeah, and I mean he's super duper young.
Yeah.
So to me, that's why I was surprised when he said Lou Dort in terms of value. I don't think that Pokusevski has less value than Lou Dort.
Yeah.
To OKC, and to any other team that is rebuilding. If you ask a team like Orlando, would you trade 8 for Poku? They would probably say yes.
I don't know that they would.
I would.
I agree. Somebody asked me that question. I answered it on Twitter today. Like, what's Poku's range if he was in this draft? I said 7 to 14.
Yeah. No, 7 to 10. That's like 16. Come on. He's
14. I said 14?
No, you said 16.
I did?
Yes. He'd be, reading right now, he'd be in the 7 to 16 range. No.
Oh, I did.
I mean, there's no way that a team like the Spurs, after what they saw, pass on Pokusevski. I don't think there is
What
a
if-
chance.
Yeah. What if he just plays in like a better league in Europe? And we don't know about his NBA chops.
Well, that is something that I don't know. I mean,
That's kind of
what's
what I was
the?
thinking in the 16. Like he could slip that far.
But he played in the league. That's the point.
He did. Yeah. I mean, if you have this information, then
Yeah,
I
yeah, of
take him
course.
above. I would definitively take him above Keon, Franz Wagner, Jalen Johnson,
Book
Davion,
night.
Book Knight, Moody, Kispert, definitively.
Yeah,
And for all my stat readers out there who didn't watch him play, go watch him play. Go see what he did. Go watch a game. Go pick a game from early in the season and see the treachery that was there. And then go watch the Clippers game. And then tell me that's not a different guy.
yeah,
Because the way that he was able to navigate screens, navigate the opposing defense by the end of the season was so vastly different. He had learned so much and he had developed so much that there are things there and he has upside there that you won't be able to find at 10,
no,
that you won't be able to find at 13. It won't be there. It absolutely won't be there. And I don't know. I mean, he may end up being one of the better guys on this Thunder team, period.
and I want to push back on what McCrae's 100 just said in the draft in the chat. He says 15-20 range. We are sometimes guilty of overvaluing the players on this team. Yes, we are. But the guy like Samsini said as much that he is the wild card, that he has the upside to be one of the best player in that draft. So, I mean, when you hear, I mean, I remember the first podcast that you did with Samsini, and there was a player that I don't remember the name. It was from Virginia. He played for Dallas, then Philadelphia. Anderson, the name I don't remember.
Justin Anderson.
Justin Anderson.
Yeah.
And he shot 45% from three.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, he's a 3D prospect. And they stopped you right there and said, no. Justin Anderson's shot is toe-and-toe with Andrew Robertson.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that. I said, what?
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
Are you crazy? 45%. I mean, Sam knows. And if Sam says that Poku has the chance to be great, even if that doesn't happen, because he says that he has a lot of variance in the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a player that after a year in the NBA, you say he has the chance to be great, then you don't draft him between 15 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't. If he has a chance to be great, and great means a player that will change to some degree the course of the franchise, then you draft him between 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he has that chance, certainly.
Yeah, he has.
Okay, let's go to our next player. Who do you think is next? Who would you say has like the next highest value?
It's not Teo, probably.
Is it Darius?
Maybe yes. For this year, yes.
Ty Jerome?
Yeah, I was first of all, I completely forgot about Baisley for a second.
Kenrich?
Kenrich is too old. Kenrich is worth like,
what's he worth?
A protected top 20, top 25.
What pick range in this draft?
Last 5.
Yeah, 25 or below. Mm-hmm. Sure. And
Something
it makes sense. Like the Clippers could use him.
Oh yeah.
I
wouldn't know. Like if it's 25, that's probably too high of a price to pay for him.
There hasn't been, and I haven't watched a ton of these guys, so I can't pretend. But there's not anybody in, unless you're just like, let's just swing on Brandon Boston.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's supposed to be a lotto pick. Had a horrific year at Kentucky. but maybe he's there. Or maybe like a Josh Christopher or somebody like that, where you're just like, okay, like they were supposed to be there in the lottery, but they're not for some reason. Let's just take them and see what happens. Usually those guys don't work out.
Yeah.
Usually everybody's pretty much right on those type of players. But like Dayron
Yeah,
Sharp,
but there are some Euro guys like Perkachin and guys like that may be worth a pick.
yeah,
So to me, between 27 and 32, which is the same range where Ty Jerome is,
yeah,
which is basically where was drafted.
mm-hmm.
And to me, he last season showed that he can retain that kind of value. I'm not sure that he is worth more. Maledon, I mean, the year he had was okay, and he's extremely young.
Extremely young.
I'm not ready to say that he's not worth more than that, but he's close. Like, to me, many teams could recognize that Maledon can be better in a year from now, but no one will be willing to pay to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like you just pass the hand on Maledon. It's not the poker hand where you just put everything in. It's not that you're going to see. So to me is weird. And probably if you have a second round pick, yeah, sure. The first one, yeah, I'm not sure, because like for Ty Jerome and Kenrich, if you're a good team, I'm sure that you can make a case that they will help you.
yeah,
But
they
with
can shoot.
Maledon,
They can both shoot, like
Yeah.
definitively. Yeah,
but with Maledon, I mean, he won't help a good team, and rebuilding team will just not pay for him. Maybe next year they will, but this one is probably worth a second rounder.
yeah, yeah. I think I agree with that. What about Bays?
Paisley,
What is Bays?
no good team will pay for him. I think it's in the same ballpark as Maledon. To be honest with you, I wouldn't pay a first for Bays just to see if he improves.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the case that like the Rockets have pick 23 and 24. Like maybe they might want to have Bay. You're just out.
No, I'm not out. No, I'm not saying the Bays.
Oh, you're kind of out. You're kind of out.
No, but like, suppose that you are selling something at the market.
Yeah.
Like, would you be able to sell him for a first? No. Like who wants to pay? Like they can say, like, really?
That's true.
That guy? He was the worst. Like Shea had a negative on-off rating with him, and without him, he was plus 12.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to sell me on? The upside?
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you're the Thunder, you just try to up his value over the course of the next year.
Oh yeah,
and see if he gets better.
Yeah, but to me, second rounder, yeah, well, of course, you can do that.
Yeah, I think that's true. Okay, I would say like Isaiah Roby, not worth anything. I would say
no.
Tony Bradley, not worth anything. No. Jalen Horde, no. Deck, no.
Heck yes.
Josh, what?
Deck, yes. I don't know. Deck is weird.
Yeah, he's weird. Why? And he's worth. I mean, what in the world would anybody want to pay for like this throwback? I want to back you down from the 3-point line. Like, I don't know. He's just a strange player in this era of the NBA.
Well, the Clippers wanted him before, so maybe.
I know, but they want to spend the. What do they have? The 25th pick?
No, I'm talking about the second rounder as well.
The 50th, the 50th pick,
of course,
from the 76ers.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then if you're the Thunder, you're like, why? Like we have 55
because we saw that because we are paying him, and we don't. No, to me, it doesn't make any sense. In the chat, they are talking about Kemba. Yeah, Kemba is a Thunder player. We should mention him.
Yeah, Kemba's worth negative picks right now.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
That I don't know.
He was just traded for negative picks.
that doesn't mean
What
that-
happened? You think Sam's just a better negotiator than?
No. But when you make a trade, there might be someone that is not ready to trade at that moment in time.
True.
So take the two LA teams.
Yep.
Take
Another
the
Zach
Lakers.
Lowe reference that
Yes.
these two LA teams are going to be sniffing around him.
Yes. Suppose that is true. Suppose that Dennis really asks for 20.
Oh, he's asking, baby. He's asking.
Yeah. Suppose that there is at least one team that is willing to give him 20, which may be the Mavs, which may be the Heat, which may be, who knows, the Knicks, even 15, 16, 17, something in that range. It's not impossible for me to see that. And if you're the Lakers, do you really want to play without a point guard? No.
What's the trade? What's the Lakers trade?
Well, a sign and trade. I was thinking just a sign and trade where then. Oops, I blacked out. See? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry. I was saying, well, the internet decided to black me out because I was saying very stupid things. Anyway, a trade where you just basically sign and trade Dennis and you add salary enough to where the trade works.
Yeah.
Financially. You don't get basically anything, maybe a second rounder or something like that, but you get a shorter deal. And you can acquire like whatever the other team wants to, like Porzingis, for nothing. I would much rather have Porzingis than having Kemba.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Dallas prefers to have Schroeder and not Porzingis. I think would be extremely stupid, but if they want, like, fine. A trade like that, where you don't get anything more, but you rework his salary. Another could be Kennard plus Beverly.
Yeah.
Something like that. Well, you cut immediately Beverly and you keep Kennard. Kennard alongside Shea would probably taking a lot of threes. You may re-up his value a bit and trade him next year or in 2 years or just keep him. Who cares?
I don't cut Beverly. I keep him here and I give him the wrong address to the practice facility. Tell him that we're playing games in Norman now.
I don't think that he can touch base in OKC, even for 1 second. He will do the Ariza stuff. And you can trade him. There will be teams in March next year say, well, we really miss a defender and Pat Beverly is there. He's clearly in shape. The Ariza thing almost worked for Miami. Why not?
No. My goal is to keep him out of the league by keeping him on this team and just never letting him play again.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my goal.
But I think that you can trade Kemba. Not for a first.
Yeah.
It's extremely unlikely. But if you trade like Kemba and Kenbridge to the Clippers.
Yeah, that's great. That's great for them.
You get the first round pick.
You can have their first.
Absolutely get the first round pick.
Sure.
If that is your goal. But with Kenrich alone, no. With Kemba alone, no. With the both of them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that is still part of the Steven Adams deal.
True. You can call that part of your Steven deal. Yeah. That's very true. That's so interesting. Okay. Is there anybody else that we're missing on the roster that's worth anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not. Muscala. Mike.
He's expiring. He's not on the roster.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Do you think he will be back?
Dude, I would be shocked if he wasn't. I'd be shocked.
Because of the tears of joy / sadness.
He loved it. He loved it here. Yeah. Why would you leave?
For more money.
And if you're the Thunder, why would you let him go? For more money.
Because you don't want to pay more money.
Who cares, man? This is monopoly money right now with the Thunder. Who cares? Just pay the
Claypan
man.
may disagree, but okay.
Yeah, pay the man. Pay the man. Let him stay. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all we got. Hope you guys have a great rest of your 5th of July. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday with me and Alex Spears. Also, leave us a 5-star rating if you haven't done that yet. Listen to our podcast week in, week out. Still leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. That would help us quite a bit. Appreciate you guys.